Martin Ødegaard is leading his Arsenal team towards their greatest season since 2004, and he might be the best candidate for Player of the Year award himself. So, how did Real Madrid let him leave for Arsenal, given his undoubtful potential? In today's episode, we'll take you through Ødegaard's journey from a Real Madrid reject to becoming a Premier League superstar. Everyone had their eyes on Martin Ødegaard back in 2014. He was 15 years old and was already getting regular playing time for Strømsgodset, the club which had won the Norwegian top division the year before. Not only did he play a lot of games, he tore oppositions apart. Finally, Real Madrid got the Wonder Kid signature at the age of 16. The Spanish club is known for buying young players, but they tend to aim more at the Brazilian market, as they did with Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, who signed for Real Madrid respectively at 18 and 17 years old. Initially, Ødegaard would play for Real Madrid Castilla. He debuted for Real Madrid in 2015 in the last match of the Spanish Championship, when he replaced none other than Cristiano Ronaldo against Getafe, becoming the youngest debutant in the club's history. Everything was lined up for Ødegaard to become the next superstar in Madrid. So what happened? Well, it was hard for Ødegaard to have regular game time at Madrid, so that's why he went on several loans before joining Arsenal. No wonder really, competing with a midfield trio of Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro. He played for 3 other clubs before joining the Gunners, Heerenveen, Vitesse, and Real Sociedad. In total, he played 118 games, scored 21 goals, and made 24 assists. He always came back to Madrid after each loan, training with the first team during the preseason, but Zidane, who was Real Madrid's coach at the time, did not give him the opportunity to play for the Los Blancos. After his loan in Real Sociedad, finishing 7th in the league and winning the Copa del Rey, his performances were so great that many expected him to return and be a starter in Madrid. When he still struggled to get regular playing time, however, he asked his agent to find a Premier League club because he thought it would be the perfect competition for him to finally explode. That's how he landed in Arsenal. At first it was a loan in 2021, but then the club decided to buy him because they were very happy with Ødegaard's performance. He later said in interviews that manager Mikel Arteta was a key figure for him in choosing Arsenal. But did you know that there were more clubs besides Arsenal that were interested in signing the midfielder? Well, that's true, and even one of Real Madrid's rivals almost convinced Ødegaard to join them. We're talking about Barcelona. The Catalan club tried to steal the player from Madrid back in 2019. But as we mentioned earlier, the midfielder joined Real Sociedad on loan instead. Imagine how Ødegaard in Barcelona would have turned out. Nevertheless, Mike Arteta was more than happy to have a player like him when Real Madrid didn't want him. Long considered an eternal hope, unable to confirm at the highest level at Real Madrid, Martin Ødegaard grew up well in England, where he became the master of the game and the captain of an impressive Arsenal. Anything he does with the ball or without the ball is outstanding. These words from Mikel Arteta says a lot about the maestro that the elegant Norwegian attacking midfielder has become, whose silky left foot has delighted as much as it has amazed Arsenal fans, match after match for many, many weeks now. Looking back, it's hard to believe that a player like that only did 11 games for Real Madrid since he signed for Los Blancos in 2016. Arsenal just paid 35 million euros, which is a ridiculous amount in view of a player's talent and performance. It was a really great business move from Arsenal in comparison to most of the crazy transfer fees we see nowadays. For his first full season in England, Ødegaard initially struggled to make his talent speak with Arsenal before gaining momentum. In the continuity of his end of the 2021 to 2022 financial year, as a cannonball, the former Madrid player is now the flagship of the Gunners, dictating the game with precision and beauty, while sublimating it with openings or dribbles, which he alone has the secret. His new status as Arsenal captain, even though he already wore the armband at the end of the last season when Lacazette became a substitute, may have contributed to his radical transformation in the space of a few months. In the locker room, he's highly respected because he's very calm, very mature, and has a great knowledge of football in him. That's why he was named captain of the Gunners. Even if it came as a surprise to many in England, it still didn't surprise many Norwegians. He had already been named captain for his national team the last year before Arteta made the same move. Ødegaard is now a decisive, formidable, and feared element in the decisive zone, This season, compared to the last one, Ødegaard has almost doubled his stats when it comes to expected goals per game. Only 3 Premier League players this year, namely Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, and Ivan Toney, have been involved in more goals than Martin Ødegaard. Arteta has already said he wants him to be more involved in the penalty area. He knows that if you want to be mentioned among the best players in the world, you have to score goals and provide assists. And Ødegaard possesses the ability to do that. If you look at his goals and assist predictions, the numbers are improving. It's part of his role in a well-functioning team. It's easier for him when he can trust defenders and defensive midfielders to distribute the ball in more dangerous areas. If Arsenal sits at the top of the Premier League, it's partly thanks to the remarkable performances of their number 8, who was also voted Best Player of the Month for November to December in the league after scoring 3 goals and delivering 3 assists in 4 games, bringing his total to 7 achievements and 5 offerings since the start of the season. Martin Ødegaard has also become the first Player of the Month wearing the Gunners jersey since Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in September 2019. Legend manager Arsene Wenger has only good things to say about the Norwegian that he had desperately tried to sign when he was 15 years old, before he ended up going to Real Madrid. Here's what the Frenchman said about the midfielder. "He really looks like a young Cesc Fabregas. I think he has become a complete player. He's a very calm player who analyzes the game well. I'm super impressed. He's a really down-to-earth and nice guy. His way of analyzing the game. He also did that at 15. After arriving at Arsenal, he regained his creativity. He plays incredibly well and masters everything in the game. He's complete. I love him in every way in the game, defensive and offensive. He makes decisions quickly and always in an optimal way. It's amazing. I love him and I love the way he makes football so easy. He has developed very well. It's really unbelievable. His decisions, he's also a leader in the team." Funny story between Wenger and Ødegaard back in 2014. He found himself in London, face-to-face with the then Arsenal coach. And here's what the young player said about that day. "He took me and my father out to dinner. It was cool, but also weird. He's Arsene Wenger, see? It's the legend that I got used to seeing on TV, and now I'm in front of him eating a steak. I was so nervous that I sat there thinking, is he analyzing me? Are you going to judge me if I eat the fries? Maybe it's better not to eat them." Ødegaard would never believe if someone told him that he was going to become Arsenal's captain 7 years after that. And he's not just Arsenal's captain, he also leads and shines with Norway's national team. Ødegaard must also carry his country's team alongside Haaland. Now that he has clearly asserted himself at the highest level, Martin Ødegaard will be eagerly awaited in the selection with 47 caps and 2 goals, where he also wears the captain's armband. The fact that he's not as good in the national team as in the club is the subject of a long debate in Norway. But that's kind of unfair to Martin, because in almost every game, he's one of the best players on the national team. But the expectations are so high. Norway often isn't able to dominate games like Arsenal does, and that obviously affects Ødegaard's strengths. And then, we must not forget that football is a game with opposition. When you play against Norway, obviously the easiest way to silence Haaland is to silence Ødegaard. It's therefore much more difficult for him to receive the ball in dangerous areas when he plays for Norway than when he plays for Arsenal, due to the strength of the team and the level of its teammates. In the meantime, Martin Ødegaard has every intention of doing everything to bring Arsenal back to the top of the Premier League. The journey of Ødegaard is just beginning. The Norwegian has still a lot to give to football, and he can soon be a legend at 24 years old if he helps Arsenal win the Premier League title that the club has been struggling to win since 2004. We look forward to seeing what he does next. Will he stay at Arsenal to become one of the best players ever at the club? Or will he go back to Real Madrid and prove to everybody that he's talented enough to play for the Merengues? No matter what he chooses, Ødegaard's future looks very promising. If he stays away from injuries, he can only improve and be one of the best midfielders in the world.